About 6, I wanted to be a space fireman.
A what?
Space fireman. My friend Colin and I were convinced that there would be a need. We were children of the space age, which is a lot of the motivation for being a scientist anyway. And we thought there would be a real need for space firemen until it was pointed out to us there was no oxygen in space, and so fires were pretty much going to go out of their own accord.
I was motivated by a program called Star Trek. And in Star Trek, they had this Lieutenant Uhuru, who was a communications officer. And when I was growing up, there were hardly any black females in that kind of role on TV who you could identify with. Usually, the roles were either working in a kitchen or perhaps being a nurse, or it was usually a role that wasn't considered. That was considered more traditional for black females. And Lieutenant Uhuru, she kind of broke that mould, and she was really inspiring.
Science was cool. I look forward to biology and chemistry lessons and physics lessons because you got to do things rather than just sit watching a blackboard or whiteboard or whatever, and it was active rather than being very formal and lectured at.
So yeah, you could say that I was obsessed by science from a very early age, and I loved school, so I was a bit weird.
I always liked science very much and was much better at science than classics, and we spent much more time doing classics at the school where I was at than anything. I mean, Latin and Greek occupied all the morning in my memory. It was really tedious. But we had one science lesson a week.
But also, it was my father, and he asked me one day, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said a number of things, and he said, well, why don't you aim for something higher? Be a doctor, you know, be a scientist, but just aim for something higher, because he